Who tells you how valuable your life is? Are the people near you to blame? The group that always judges and watches? Or is it something deeper within you? In a world where everything we do can be looked at closely and talked about, it could feel like our worth is held by everyone but ours. But let me share something groundbreaking with you, drawn from the old truth of Stoicism. Your true strength comes from within, not from the cheers or the comments of the crowd. Today, we're diving into how following Stoic ideals can change your understanding of self-worth, help you handle the noise of societal expectations, and help you towards a more real, robust life. We're not just scratching the surface. We're going deep, pushing you to look inside rather than around you for approval. And I warn you, some of the ideas we'll explore might be wild if you're strongly rooted in seeking outward approval, if you're ready to fight the conventional, to dig into the deep lessons of Stoicism, and if you're looking for ways to develop a life that's truly your own, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with others who are on their own trips of personal growth and psychological exploration. Stay with us till the end to discover how old wisdom is more important today than ever, and why sometimes the most deep truths about ourselves and our lives require us to confront and question everything we thought we knew. The trap of external validation. Let's unpack something we all encounter, but rarely pause to deeply understand: the trap of external approval. It's a trap laid out by our culture, intricately woven into our everyday activities, where the number of likes, comments, or likes can seem to decide our happiness and self-worth. But is our worth truly just a bunch of external affirmations? Stoicism, a theory that goes back to ancient Greece and Rome, challenges this idea strongly. Stoics teach us that the only true good lies in our own values, our wisdom, justice, bravery, and moderation. They claim that external causes, including other people's ideas, are beyond our control and critically indifferent to our true happiness picture. Living in a state where your inner peace isn't shaken by a negative comment online or a sour glance in a public space. Stoicism isn't just about endurance. It's about recognizing what truly deserves your energy. Now, think about the times when you've put something online. There's often an almost instant urge to check for replies. Each notification acts like a small gift, a hit that briefly boosts your ego. But it's fleeting, isn't it? Soon you're checking again, hungry for more. This loop can be addicting, pulling us further into seeking external praise and further away from self-reliance and personal happiness. What's worse, this hunger for external approval doesn't just stay online. It seeps into our real lives. We start forming our habits, our appearances, even our life choices to fit into what we think will earn us cheers and approval. But here's a stern truth. When you base your happiness on the views of others, you give away your power. You become dependent on a base that's as shaky as the ever-changing views around you. Stoicism offers a powerful cure, focusing on self-approval. It urges us to turn inward, to seek our own approval. For Stoics, the goal is to nurture an inner citadel, resistant to outward shocks. This isn't about ignoring others, but rather about changing the weight their ideas carry. It's about finding freedom in knowing that you can exist completely and happily, with the approval that comes from within, grounded in your own beliefs and deeds. By emphasizing internal checking over external, we start to free ourselves from the trap. We begin to act with a goal that connects deeply with our true selves, not with a passing picture designed for social applause. This change isn't simple and it's not quick, but it is immensely freeing. It allows you to live truly, to choose ways that align with your values, and finally, to lead a life that is not just reacting to external information, but proactive in achieving your own idea of success. Self-worth from within. Going into the world of Stoicism, we find a cool approach to self-worth that deviates greatly from today's norm. The Stoic thought, based in the beliefs of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, shows a convincing viewpoint that self-worth should come from within, rather than being a reflection of external validations. Let's look into this a bit more deeply. Stoicism teaches us that true value isn't something you can gain or lose through the views of others. It's something naturally yours, rooted deeply in your values, and the choices you make in alignment with those values. What does this mean in real terms? It means that your worth is independent of how many people, like your social media post, compliment your outfit or praise your achievements. These external factors are not bad, of course, but they are not the bedrock upon which you should build your sense of value. For Stoics, the core of self-worth lies in living according to reason, in balance with your own nature, and in adopting qualities like wisdom, bravery, justice, and temperance. It's about asking yourself, am I making decisions that I can stand by? Am I living truthfully and ethically? This internal chat promotes a kind of self-respect that is unshakable because it doesn't rely on external factors. It's self-made and self-sustained. Consider the Stoic practice of daily thought, often performed through writing or quiet thought. This isn't just about self-improvement. It's a way of boosting your internal value system every night, thinking on your day, not to berate yourself for mistakes or to sum up your wins, but to honestly judge your deeds against your goals. This practice helps to solidify the understanding that your worth is defined by your ability to live virtuously, not by the changing seas of general opinion. Now, accepting this Stoic style doesn't mean you become indifferent to others. Rather, it's about recalibrating the impact external views have on your feeling of self. In a tough mindset, reviews from others is not a measure of your worth, but rather information that can be used to improve your balance with Stoic virtues. It's about changing criticism and praise alike into tools for personal growth without letting them disturb your deep peace. The beauty of viewing self-worth as something that comes from within is that it becomes much more stable and controllable. You're no longer at the mercy of others' wishes or the social pressures that push you to conform. Instead, you gain the freedom to follow a life that truly shows who you are, based in the sound concept of Stoic thought, inner courage, falling into the concept of inner strength through the view of Stoicism. We find an empowering part of this old philosophy. Courage in the Stoic sense is not just about brave acts or facing physical challenges. It's about the daily courage required to live truly and stick to your beliefs, despite exterior forces and fears. Inner courage is basic in Stoicism. It's about having the courage to face your own flaws and fears, and picking acts that align with your core values, rather than those that simply seek to avoid discomfort or gain social approval. This type of courage asks you to look inward, to question not just what you do, but why you do it. Are your acts driven by a true idea in their rightness, or are they affected by a desire for external approval or a fear of disapproval? Consider the scenario where you stand up for an unpopular, but just cause the courage here isn't just in the act of standing up, but in conquering the domestic battle against your own doubts and fears. Stoic courage means keeping your course even when it's rocky, believing that your mental compass is set on virtue. Expanding on this Stoicism teaches us that true courage involves not only facing outward problems, but also internal weaknesses. It's about being willing to accept and work through your feelings, including those like fear and anxiety, regarding them as natural human experiences. Rather than weaknesses, this acceptance doesn't mean being led by these feelings, but rather watching them with a reasonable mind and choosing your deeds based on wisdom, not whim. This form of courage is deeply freeing. It frees you from the tyranny of trying to control what is outside your power, like other people's ideas or every life outcome. Instead, it steers you toward what you can control: your views, your decisions, your values. When you live this way, guided by inner strength, you're not just responding to the world. You're constantly shaping your life in line with your true self. Stoic courage also involves the readiness to revise your views and deeds in light of new information or better reasoning. This adaptability is a form of bravery because it needs you to let go of perhaps long-held views when they no longer stand up to sensible scrutiny. It's about having the guts to grow and change, understanding that Stoic wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about seeking them with an open yet cautious mind. In developing this inner courage, we build a strength that's deeply stern. It's a resilience that doesn't just help us survive, but helps us grow. Changing life's inevitable challenges into opportunities for personal growth. Each problem becomes a chance to practice virtue, to reinforce our commitment to our Stoic values, and to improve our understanding of what it means to live a good life. Vulnerability. Embracing vulnerability might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Stoicism, but it's a fairly robust feature of this philosophy. Weakness often gets a bad rap, seen as a sign of weakness, or something to be hidden away. However, Stoicism invites us to rethink this idea entirely. It teaches us that weakness is not just inevitable, but also a major strength when approached with wisdom and self-awareness. Let's break this down. Stoicism acknowledges that we are all subject to feelings, mistakes, and tragedies. We are people after all. The Stoic strength lies not in rejecting these human traits, but in accepting them with acceptance and rationality. Weakness in Stoicism is about understanding our fears, uncertainties, and limits, and then facing them with bravery and ethics. Consider the idea that being open takes more courage than hiding your true feelings or saying everything is fine. It involves opening up about your problems and worries, not so others can fix them, but so you can address them freely and work through them productively. This is a key part of Stoic practice, using logical thought to navigate our feelings and transform promised flaws into avenues for growth and self-improvement. But why view weakness as a strength? Because it allows for real self-reflection and growth. By admitting your weaknesses, you give yourself a chance to address them. You turn them from dark fears that control you from the background into challenges that you can meet head-on. This kind of engagement builds true strength, the Stoic kind that's based on knowledge and wisdom, rather than mere grit or denial. Moreover, embracing vulnerability promotes deeper relationships with others. When you're honest about your weaknesses, you create space for others to do the same. This can lead to more important and supportive partnerships, both personally and in a wider community. Setting Stoicism promotes not isolation, but a group of rational and supportive partnerships built on honest, virtuous interactions. Embracing vulnerability also fits with the quiet practice of focus on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. When you accept that some parts of life, like feelings and other people's acts, are out of your control, you're free to focus on how you react to them, Weakness then becomes a practice ground for exercising control over your emotions and choices, not over the outward world. Vulnerability, when loved, leads to a more real life. It allows Stoics to confront and accept their true selves. With all the flaws and worries, this acceptance doesn't weaken them. Instead, it strengthens their drive to live according to Stoic virtues. Building resilience. Building strength might often be talked about in the context of simply bouncing back from hardships, but through the view of Stoicism, it gets a deeper, more deep meaning. Stoic practices don't just prepare us to recover from problems. They rethink our entire view on what it means to be strong, transforming potential setbacks into powerful chances for growth and self-mastery. Strength in Stoicism is based in the theories, central idea learning, and working within the duality of power. Stoics focus intensely on differentiating between what is within our control, our own thoughts, behaviors, and feelings, and what is not, namely, the external events and the acts of others. This goal is not idle resignation, but an active enabling practice. By focusing our forces only on what we can affect, we can serve our brain powers and stay steadfast in the face of life's unpredictabilities. Take, for example, the Stoic practice of daily thought, often known as the evening meditation. In this practice, Stoics review the day's events not to dwell on what went wrong outwardly, but to judge their own answers and prepare for new problems. This kind of introspection builds resilience by creating a habit of learning from every situation, instead of feeling crushed by setbacks. Stoics use them as stepping stones, gathering ideas on how to handle similar cases better in the future. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us the art of image management, a key to resilience. How we view a challenge determines our response to it. If we view difficulties as insurmountable obstacles, we are more likely to feel overwhelmed. However, if we see them as natural expected tests of our character and resolve, we approach them with a more positive attitude. This move doesn't weaken the truth of hardship, but allows us to face it with respect and purpose. Another Stoic tool for building strength is the premeditation of ills, known as premeditatio malorum. This practice involves visualizing possible challenges and setbacks afar from being gloomy. This prepares the mind to handle tough situations if they arise, reducing the shock and dismay that can accompany unexpected problems. It's an endurance training of the mind, allowing Stoics to stay composed and pragmatic, no matter the situation. Moreover, strength in Stoicism is also about maintaining a dedication to our morals, regardless of external pressures. This is seen in the stern idea of amor fati, a love of fate. Stoic try to not only accept, but embrace whatever life throws their way, believing that every event has value and can add to their moral and philosophical growth. This acceptance is not silent. It's an active involvement with life, choosing to see the growth possibilities in all experiences, good or bad, in real terms. Building strength through Stoic habits means developing a mindset that sees life's problems as vital to our personal and ethical growth. It's about cultivating an inner strength that doesn't break under pressure, but grows more strong with each problem faced, focusing on your own path. This isn't about isolation or ignoring the needs and good advice of others. It's about ensuring that the choices we make and the way we live are genuinely ours, not merely thoughts of societal expectations or the wishes of those around us. The Stoic practice of focus on one's own way is deeply linked with the idea of self-sufficiency, not in the material sense, but in an emotional and intellectual sense. Stoics believe in building an inner strength that relies less on outward sources of happiness and more on inner peace and logical thought. This doesn't mean that Stoics support for mental coldness. Rather, they strive for a state where their happiness is not disproportionately dependent on the changing external circumstances. By organizing our lives around our own judgments, guided by reason and virtue, we handle life's problems with a clearer view. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who amidst the great pressures of ruling a country, sought solace and strength in his Stoic views. He focused on his own path, not just to rule successfully, but to live a life of personal integrity and virtue. His reflections encourage us to question, are we making decisions because they are right and good, or because we fear judgment or crave approval? Focusing on your own path also involves recognizing and embracing the idea of the obstacle is the way. Another Stoic principle which teaches that obstacles should not be watched merely as hindrances, but as chances for growth. When we focus on our way, every problem becomes a chance to apply Stoic ideals, such as courage, temperance, fairness, and wisdom. This mindset changes how we view our journey, not as a smooth road to be traversed with ease, but as a set of learning moments that shape us into smarter, more virtuous people. Moreover, this tough practice helps in cultivating personal responsibility. It's about owning up to our choices and their repercussions. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control what happens to us, we have total power over how we act. Thus, focusing on your own path means taking charge of your answers to life's challenges. It means not blaming others or circumstances for your sadness or failures, but instead looking internally, understanding what you can do better, and making logical choices that align with your deepest values. This liberty is freeing, but also difficult. It needs steady vigilance against the allure of following the crowd or taking the easy way out. It needs daily thought, a staple of Stoic behavior where one reviews their deeds and goals to ensure they stay true to their philosophical commitments. In spirit, focusing on your own path is about authenticity. It's about creating a life that truly reflects who you are, and strive to be not formed by external pressures, but shaped by your reason options and virtuous behavior as we each walk our ways. Let's be led by Stoicism's rich wisdom, using it to guide our way, making choices that are not just efficient, but right and good, both for ourselves and for the bigger group. By accepting this Stoic commitment to focus on our own ways, we not only forge lives of true satisfaction, but also add to a world where ethics and goodness are the guides by which we all travel. Thank you for joining me today and for being an important part of our Stoic Journal group. Remember, the road to living a quiet life is not just about living the tough times, but about changing them into profound chances for personal growth and wisdom. As you continue on your way, accept every moment with bravery and ethics, and let Stoicism guide you to a life of true joy. Don't forget to watch one of the recommended movies on your screen to dive deeper into Stoic habits and ideals. Thank you for your time and dedication to bettering yourselves through the timeless knowledge of Stoicism. Until next time, keep focused on your own way and live virtuously.